bad. It missed me and the student by the it would have hurt. I mean, it would have broke our.
Oh!
You gotta get mad.
I need to put a sign on the door.
It doesn't always do that though. It's weird. It's got its own little.
It says it's cold and the door shrinks.
Probably.
And that happens in Mr.
The
Cole's
door,
room.
the metal shrinks.
Yeah, in Mr. Cole's room.
Metal
In the
becomes
morning it's
brittle.
cold, but in the evening the sun hits it and it expands up and the door won't close all the way.
Weird.
So the door frame is...
So the same with wood.
Yes. Yeah, because the aluminum frame and the steel door expand and shrink at different rates.
Wood is different. It expands in cold
Mm-hmm.
and shrinks in heat.
Yeah, because it's a water. There's moisture in it and then the water freezes.
Your next spot.
Bull!
I'm enjoying
Figure
this.
back.
No, that's my spot.
It's warm, man.
Really?
Right about maybe.
Is that all you do? Sit there? 'Cause it's in the sun.
Whoa, what's with the hostility sound like that? They really crap.
Man, baby, this is a peaceful environment here.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to feel safe at school. We're like fighting all the time. I got no problem. Don't you see the shirt, man? I throw people for fun. I need to shoot on your shirt.
You throw people for fun,
I do.
like a cheerleader.
No, I like it. So I like to sink my hips behind them, you grab them right by their gut, and you lift them up, lift them right about chest height, and drop them on their back.
I'll open the door. They're there.
No, floor. Yeah.
That way you can-
Right, open the door.
Take my chair with me.
That was actually smart. I guess.
Oh, so many.
The reason why you keep the door open now.
Walls is gonna talk. And that's why no one ever noticed.
In my bed, he's gonna freaking open it.
Wow.
It's so cold outside.
Stop being a bitch.
Yes, it is.
I'll walk out my
What
door.
did you say?
You're a B word.
Okay.
Did you just say stop being a bitch?
Yeah, I'll stop doing that.
What about it? I know you're talking
Okay.
about
They're using inappropriate language.
Yes, I was.
They're supposed to be role models for us young
I don't know.
Shut up, Austin.
Yeah, you guys, you are supposed to be role models.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you're a grown up for
That happens. It is cold.
It's not cold.
400 people.
It's hot.
I know, it's really warm right
degrees
here.
outside.
I just feel like
Yeah.
Really didn't. What's hot?
Oh, I said you're like on crack. Said it'll
Hey, cold, what's my-
Might have been hit.
It's 47 degrees outside.
It's 47.
44.
I feel that way. I'm hot. We could
You
die.
got that?
Nice and
Yeah.
warm. Sun really.
Yeah, I know that.
It's actually 10:07 in 38 seconds. Hate people like that.
God, I might have seen him more often.
What did you say?
I might have to see her more often.
I don't know, you went.
Yes, if they're more often freaking annoyed lately, I would do that.
I would
No,
always,
Andrew?
I would always be
Oh,
cheating.
He's here.
If I
Is he
still
here?
hadn't
Okay,
run-
thank
if
you.
I still hadn't run yet.
Oh, Xavier's here.
The bill, the
Hey,
bill
look.
earlier in the
You actually
Close the door. Close it. It's cold.
close the door.
Close the
What are
door.
you doing?
Hello?
Hey guys, you know Mr.
Are
Walsh.
you a psychopath?
Hello? Can you close the door?
Mr. Walsh is
Gonna
gonna
walk in 1 minute.
Hey. It's cold.
Look at
It's cold.
Xavier.
I'm trying to enjoy the warmth for the time that he's not here.
I wanted the door closed at the break because we were freezing. So.
And we're gonna wait till Mr. Wilson.
Listen, next time you come in and it's the break, if the door's closed, leave it that way. Okay?
Should you go to Miss
But I
Casey's
know
room?
Mr. Walls can be in here in like 20 seconds, and you probably thought ahead like that too, so I don't think it's a big deal.
Mr. Walsh just
It doesn't make that much of a difference because we got 10 minutes of decent temperature.
Oh, so hot.
It's not.
Well, my metabolism is 10 times higher than the
Are
average
you
human.
hot? Do you wanna
Take
take
the
a
jacket
walk
off.
maybe, out in the cold, or? Well, you could.
Yeah, River's right over there.
It's not cold out there
I
now.
don't mean, you know, from the back section.
But I'm nice and warm.
What do you want, Trevor?
Actually, that's not true. I was gonna say that.
Oh.
How does he know morning?
Morning.
Not late, you know.
Not late. Don't feel there.
No, it's chill.
I'm not giving that. Oh, I'm gonna come to the room.
That was an obscene gesture. I don't appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's starting to spike trigger. We all love this trigger. That's the look. Alright. You guys trigger one behind the scenes. You're trying to manipulate us. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. I know who you are. This is the real world. What are you talking about? The real world is how the cruel world is. Oh my god.
Andrew. Come to Earth.
I am there.
Join us. Join us, Earthling.
Join us. Join the dark side.
You break my
You
chair.
know what would be cool?
Don't break the chair. There is no more. I bring this one from home. My chair was broken and I kept almost falling over in it.
Oh yeah, that one was supposed to be like,
Yeah.
whenever you like lean back, it's like, oh, I'm gonna
This
like.
was my son's chair. I bought him for his 16th birthday. And he's 28 now. This chair was a super good deal. It's lasted 12 years. And it's been used by me. My husband used it at his job. We used it in our house. My son used it when he was a teenager.
Yes.
I only paid like $200 for the best $200 chair I ever bought.
I got Chuck at home.
I'm serious. 12 years is pretty good.
I found mine on the side of the road.
You can find nice ones on the side.
It works very well.
Was it on American River Drive?
No.
I saw two of them on American River Drive.
This one's like electric.
I wanted to grab them on American River. They were out there. They were free. And bring them here. I asked Wallace if he might want to go back and get it. It's like, no.
I found a sub worker on the side of the road.
Took the,
What?
A sub worker.
Oh, okay.
Please
Wallace.
don't.
No, Wallace.
Yes.
Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. Rollins. Thank you, Mr. Rollins.
And dog don't hunt today.
Mr. Wallace, really
Yes.
quick. Austin is gonna work on his earth science, his final right there. He's gonna put his phone on it. He's gonna and I am gonna go.
Here, give me the phone. I'll put it over there.
Yeah, there you go. Here, Austin. Now listen, Austin, if you don't wanna work on this, it is not the end of the world.
Oh, no, no,
I know.
don't say that, you're
Well, if
working on it.
he's, if he gets distracted or something, just
Well, then if he's not working on
distract
it,
him.
I'm gonna.
And I'm gonna go pick up some tests and I'm gonna grab Ezekiel and go to the library, okay? Roll is taking.
Now, you're not gonna be here to help him?
I have to work with
No,
Ezekiel.
no, I got that, so why does it matter where he sits?
Yes.
Awesome.
It's probably better he's not sitting in
No,
the
he's
middle
just
of
trying to-
people with phones. Since it's a
Oh,
less
for Paulus?
distracting.
Yes.
No, that's okay, Austin, come here. We'll sit you right here.
Austin, you need to sharpen a pencil.
And we don't have to worry about it.
That one's sharp here.
Mr. Wallace, it looks like
Yeah,
you're
don't
putting,
use the pen, huh?
Mr. Wallace,
Okay, roll is
Got you back.
it looks like you're putting it from time out.
Oh,
That's okay.
It's not okay.
Oh, nice and
It's
warm.
okay to me.
Why
I
is
say
it
it's
time out?
okay.
That's time out.
That's not timeout. I don't have timeout.
This is a quarter out.
Roll is taken, I am going, I will be back.
This is time out.
All right, thank you.
No one cares.
I need someone to take this to Mr. Barlow.
I'll take it.
I'm walking over
I
there.
never get to take.
You never get to take it. You always leave early. You never get to take anything.
That's where I'm walking, I'm walking to Miss Ward's. Miss Wall.
Yes. Oh, you're walking that way anyway? Boom. That's easier.
Trying to tell you. Okay.
You're trying to tell me.
Did you ever play
I
basketball?
see, it's hard, it's Chris, it's not that I'm ignoring, it's just, I got 4 people explaining to me
I know.
why I should let them take it, and then you're talking, and I'm like, you know, it's just like,
I know.
and you know how hard it is for me to concentrate.
And if you're being
It's
overdrawn.
just because one teacher has 3 tests going on right now. And we have 8 students with them, so I'm juggling that.
And remember, my attitude about testing,
I know, but you're just gonna see me in and out like this.
Mr. White, are you being dramatic because Lindsay was the only one that gave you a reason why she should have gone?
you were talking?
Yeah, to ask you, you played basketball.
Right, but what I'm saying is, okay, so maybe you weren't talking about that, but there's a lot of voices, like,
I think that's what, those voices were just in your head.
It's something to consider, isn't it?
hey, do you need to work on math right now?
Me?
Yeah,
No.
no, okay. How about English?
No.
No?
No. That's what I said.
If I call her right now, she's gonna tell me you're all caught up.
Janice? Yeah.
Yeah?
That's
Now listen, I'm gonna be pissed if I call her and she says you're behind and stuff. But I'm wasting my time and her time.
you. No, call her.
Are you behind in something that you could be doing right now, yes or no?
No.
Don't lie to me.
No.
Okay, I'll believe you. Now, if I find out that there's something you should have been doing, I won't trust you again. So don't put me in that situation. All right. The rest of you guys need to take out your notes. I want to finish, we should be able, I think we can finish today. We have the California Constitution, sources of bills, 6 provisions. I'm trying to give you guys all the notes you need. State legislature, qualifications. I will rewrite that since it's so messy. You know what, terms, it doesn't matter how many sessions, I don't care. What you guys are gonna pay. Take out your notes. Take out your notes. And take out your notes. Where the heck is my book? Did somebody take my book?
No one ever takes your book
That is not true.
You don't know that, Lindsay.
Is it that one?
in this class.
Which one? Oh, it is. Thank you. Where'd I be without you?
Right here. Me too.
Oh, thought those were Doritos.
What that?
Why would they, how would you think these?
I don't,
are
because
Doritos?
it's not, this filled with cheese.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we said at the end of the first period?
What's that?
What we said at the end of the first period?
That's slightly concerned.
Show it to me. Come on, bring it up. Hurry up. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing.
It's not a video.
I promise I would.
Oh, we did. Sounds like Led Zeppelin.
No. Sounds like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. They're saying our vocals sound a little bit like that.
Like who?
Led Zeppelin.
I'm saying it sounds like Guns N' Roses.
No, it's a new band. It's a new band that sings like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, you can test.
I can't remember.
Turn around, be quiet.
It's a newer band.
Okay, so you said I would like that. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Look at me. That makes me sad. I haven't felt this sad in a long time. Why did you say that?
Since you broke up with
Daichi, you're killing me. A little part of me just died. Listen, no. Yeah, they sound okay. It sounded like Guns N' Roses to me. Okay, Governor.
Are you actually secretly depressed, Wallace? I feel like you
I
are.
don't, you know what? I have,
You live alone in your house.
one day,
With a cat,
How did
maybe.
you get a cat, Mr. Wallace?
my wife, I was married at the time, my wife is like reading the newspaper. Libby, get your notes out. My wife is reading the news. All of you need to get out your notes. You too, Trevor. She's reading the newspaper and all of a sudden she looks up, she goes, I just found out what's wrong with you. And I look at her and I go, all right, let's hear it. She goes, she just read this article and said, this article is about a condition that is the condition has been identified for people who fail to get depressed.
What?
So I think she was exaggerating. I mean, you know what? Honestly, I don't get too depressed, man. I
That doesn't
just,
make any sense.
no, she said, because she used to get mad at me, well, because, like, okay, let me put it this way. Like, you know how sometimes in a relationship, right? People have like shared values, right? So if one person is sad about something and the other person is sad about something, the one person who's sad might look at them like, don't you care about what I'm, right? Now, because I like things could happen, and my thing is always like, you know, it could be worse. I mean, I definitely look at the world as a cup half full, as opposed to half empty. Like, as bad as things get, you know, and I can, you know, like, I don't want to think about, like, say, the death of my children. I don't want to, like, I don't ever want to comment. But, you know, the thing is like, when you think about, so like that's the one thing to me, the death of somebody that I love really a lot, you know? That's the one thing that I think could plunge me into a darkness that might be really hard to get out of. So like, when people talk about that kind of grief, and then like say they get involved, like, you know, they get involved in substance abuse or, you know, behaviors that are, that like, I understand that, okay? I'm not gonna judge somebody, but outside of that, the death of a dog, like that kind of stuff, I don't get that. Like, it's like, okay, that's sad, let's move on. You know? To me, it's like there's other things, like there's a whole lot of bad in this world, and there's a whole lot of good, and why dwell on the bad and stuff like I get it, that people do, but I don't. Okay?
So your ex-wife thinks you're a psychopath?
No, she thinks I'm like emotionally stunted because of that, you know. And so, you know, it is what it is. I mean, sure, okay, fine. Like, I don't get upset about like some things that people get upset. Like, that doesn't make me upset, especially when it comes to material stuff. I remember one time I had this beautiful bike. It was an old Bianchi road bike. It was beautiful. And my friends were building it up for me, okay? It was my wedding present, right? And it was this beautiful bike, and they were getting all these parts for it. It was an Italian road bike, and they're getting these really nice Italian Campagnolo. I don't know if you guys know that brand, but it's an Italian maker of components. And it had all this really nice stuff. And my buddy was bringing it to me at work, and his wife was with him, and they walked in. They were young, you know. And they walked in and she goes, oh my God. And they were setting me up. She goes, Kevin was driving over here and he didn't strap your bike down and it's like in pieces all over Highway 395. He lived out in Washoe Valley and they're bringing it to Reno, right? And I looked at him and I was like, oh. And I remember like just going, oh. And then I looked and I go, oh, such a guy. And she goes, wait a minute. And she goes, you know I'm kidding, right? And I go, no, were you? And she goes, no, you must have known I was kidding. And I looked at her and I said, Carol, what the hell are you talking about? And she goes, like, why are you acting like that? I said, acting like what? She goes, weren't you upset? And I go, yeah, for a second. She got pissed.
What?
Right? Because I didn't overreact. Like, I wasn't like, oh, gnashing my teeth and pulling my hair. It's just like, it's a freaking bike, man. You know what? At the time I was, I don't know, 20, I got married, I think I was 30, I was 29 years old. I went 29 years of my life without this bike. You know what I'm saying? So it broke. I mean, look it, Kevin's my friend. He forgot to strap it down. People make mistakes. What do you want me to do? Beat him up? You know?
Well, I lived for 16 years without positive figurines. So what?
So, yeah. All right.
That sounds like a cycle.
Okay, so the whole reason why I was doing that is I was hoping that Trevor and most of you would take out your notes. Do you have your notes out?
What page would you like us to be
Notes for
on?
what? Oh my God. You guys are killing me.
What do you think notes are for?
The terms with the page number. So right here, these are the notes for your
This
finals.
paper.
We've done this for the past week. Remember, this is your homework for weeks 17 and 18 are your notes. These are the notes for your final.
You're supposed to make your own notes.
Trevor,
Where are they?
Okay.
this notes.
Yeah, there.
Okay, Trevor, where's your piece of paper?
I already made this.
Okay, so why don't we start? Everything you need is right up there, guys. California Constitution 686, what are the 6 provisions? Know what they are. What are sources of bills and direct legislation? That's on 693.
I think you're
Okay, there's not a whole lot like sources of bills. There's only 3 that you guys have to identify. Direct legislation, there's only 2 types. There's the referendum and the initiative. You know, it's not like you guys have to know a lot like this. This shouldn't be overwhelming. State legislature, I cut out, terms, pay, and qualifications. Quals. Quals mean qualification. You guys all know to be a state legislator, you gotta be 18 years old. And then the basic residency requirements, okay? That's on 6, state legislature, and that is on, I believe, 689. Let me double check for you guys. Yep. This is 689, 689 270. And then governor, quals, term, pay, removal,
Your wallet.
1 second. 1 second. 694 through 96. Yes.
Can you close the door?
No.
It's cold in here. It's hot.
Yeah. It's like 47 degrees outside. Or 44.
Yeah, right. It's hot.
Oh, it's about 10 degrees above freezing. And your door's open.
Yeah, right.
That is not an opinion, that is a factual statement. We are nearing freezing temperatures. And your door is open. I don't remember asking your opinion. Is there a wish I can let you open?
You guys are gonna make me say the F word.
Fun.
Okay? Here's what I want you to do.
Is that true?
Art.
Don't make me treat you like kindergartners. I don't wanna have to break you guys up, put you on different sides of the room. I will. Stop it. Thank you. So the only powers that I want you guys to focus on are judicial and executive. You don't have to get into the fine print, just know what they are. So under executive, there's a number of powers that the governor has. I want you to know how your state runs, okay? Then the other offices, 699 through 700. Just know what they are. You don't have to talk of, so lieutenant governor, state controller, state treasurer, attorney general. You don't have to worry about state board of equalization. That's an office and there's a number of officers. We write this down, Libby. Make sure you're writing down the terms. It's kind of haphazard here, but it has the page numbers, and we're gonna go through this today. So write this down. You can take a picture if you want, but remember, whatever I need it written down and turned into me. So if you want to take a picture of it right now, write it down later, you may.
Have to do an access again.
Love your hair. It's fluffy. Fluffy, I tell you. Do you have the test? You see the game yesterday?
For Seahawks?
Yeah.
I didn't have a channel. Plus I was outside and stuff, but they lost.
They looked bad doing it, man. They were like playing, I don't know what they were doing, what they were thinking at the end. They were playing really dirty. There must have been something going on.
Yeah. But it's fine.
It's fine, I didn't say it wasn't fine.
I know, I'm saying.
I wasn't trying to debate you on it.
No,
Whether you think they're not dirty or not, they still play dirty. You just trying to be contrary. You know, you guys set me up the other day when I stopped, man, that just I'm still on. Anyway, good to see you. I like your backpack. Are you a fisherman? With hair like that, you should be. Actually, it might scare fish. You'd be out there and like, wow! So, here's what I'd like you guys to do, yes? Don't do that to me, I told you, I hate that.
My mom hates that too.
Yeah,
I find it funny.
you find it funny?
Yeah.
Annoying us is funny, so you're lucky I'm not your dad.
I'm out with that. Why would you bring that up?
Oh, why did I bring him? I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
What?
Forgive me. Yes. You done? Okay, set it on Chris's desk and you can rejoin the circle. Here, I'll set it on there.
Oh.
I know this is difficult. See, there's Chris's desk, setting it on there. There you go. Jeez. How do you find your way to the place to wrestle? What are you going over there for? Are you gonna fart? That'd be funny. Did I tell you guys I have this friend? One of my really good friends. Before he farts, he always whistles. He'll go like this. Like, it'll be quiet in the room, right? He'll walk in, yeah, there you go. He'll go. Then also. But he always whistles before he farts. Yes? Can you get your phone?
Yeah.
You gonna do math now? Do you need your phone to do math?
Yeah.
Is it because of the calculator?
I got notes on it.
Oh, okay. You have notes on it?
Yeah.
You don't have answers on it, do you?
No, I'm not that smart.
All right, review some of this. We're going to do this together. We're going to talk about these things. So what I would like to do is be able to say, hey, what are the 6 provisions? Give me one provision in California.
What?
Constitutional change.
Do you know how many times I do that? I used to, like, people would be like,
When you're
"Mr. Wallace,
walking.
could I borrow a pencil?" I'll be like, "Yeah, Ernesto." And I'll be like, "Here." I'll be like, "Oh, why is he giving me a pencil?" And I've seen like people turn, "Why does Wallace give me a pencil?" And then I'll realize again, I'm like, "Damn, figure it out, man. Get it to him."
Should just put in your pocket.
Hey, you guys got that? You should be looking at not at your crackers.
They're Cheerios.
Oh.
Not crackers.
How am I supposed to know they're Cheerios?
Just be real.
The last bag of stuff you had was like freaking crackers. Look at these terms.
Constitutional change.
Look them up.
Just give me the answer.
State legislature, term, pay, qualifications. Just know some of them, okay? We talk pay. If you can get us to around 100,000, you know, just don't, I don't want to see an answer like 10,000. Okay? What the hell is wrong with you two? Huh? I was told, psychologists say, don't ever ask your child. It makes them feel bad. Don't ever say, what the hell is wrong with you? I do that to my son all the time. He'll like steal stuff and I'll look at him and he'll be like, oh, man. And I know that he's thinking, Dad, I'm going to get it. And I'll look at him and go, what the heck is wrong with you? Are you freaking kidding
Well,
me?
does it actually take a psychologist to tell you that is like detrimental?
Okay, but you know what? When adults used to ask me, I wouldn't get upset. See, here's the problem, right? Emotionally, I'd be like, I would sit there and go, yeah, what the hell is wrong with me? Did I just do that? You know what? The answer, here's the easy answer. Because you're a teenager.
Do you want to hear some? You want to hear a story about dropping something?
What's that?
Oh, never mind.
You're,
Oh, was that a boom story? Got you.
Hey,
What's that? Oh,
Got you.
want to hear a joke?
What was it?
Do you wanna go back to your dance corner? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I asked you a question next.
Hey, let's do some review. Quiet in here.
I'm doing
I think we'd be quiet when you're funny, Mr. Wallace.
I'm not smoking.
I don't think I'm being funny right now. You guys are laughing amongst yourselves.
I'm laughing at you.
You think we're high, Mr. Wallace? Is that what you think?
That was completely irrelevant.
You're not high as well.
Right, I am Porta. You know what? I've been thinking about Porta all morning
Okay.
because of you.
Because of me.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that.
He's nice.
No, because he had torta.
You do that.
With cheese,
You're joking.
eggs, and beans.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's what a Mexican dude wants to hear is some white dude joking about him being Mexican.
But stop it. And Mr. Wallace hates it when.
Trevor, turn around. I'm going to send you to the office.
Like a
I'm going
stash.
to send you to the office to study. Turn around, write down the page numbers. Guys, this is all the final's going to be, is just what's on the board. Just these terms. But you guys got to know.
6 things.
So you'll have, what's that?
6
Well, 6 provisions, so you need to, so here's what I'm gonna do. I want you to study the 6 provisions. You don't need to know every single provision. I'll just tell you that right now. Like, here's a bunch of stuff you guys need to study. Again, some of these things, like for the term, how long is the term for a governor of California? Okay. Term, let me do this too. Limits. Terms. Limits. So if there's any limits to assembly seats, you need to know what they are. I want you guys, when you walk out of this class, you have a basic understanding of the structure of government here in the state of California. So like 5 years from now, if you read an article about how Governor so-and-so pardoned someone, you don't turn to your partner and say, well, how the hell can you do that? And they're going to look at you and say, did you take a government class in high school? Yeah, but Wallace taught it. I didn't learn a damn thing. I'm hoping you guys can walk out of there knowing, for example, you know, will you ever have conversations like that? I'm going to tell you guys something. When I first taught here, about year 5 that I was teaching here, there was a young man from Rio who killed someone. That young man, and his father was a politician. That young man was later pardoned by the governor of California. Okay? So we were talking about it in class, in an American government class that I was teaching at the time. They were like, oh, that's why Schwarzenegger pardoned him, because he has the power. And it's like, yeah, no crap, Sherlock. It's in your freaking book. So I want you guys to know what their basic powers are, what they can and can't do. So if you don't like something, you don't sit there and say, well, there's no recourse, right? Because you notice right here, there's a word called removal. We can remove the governor of California, we being we the people. You have a question, Ernesto?
Yeah.
What is it?
For the 6 provision, do we need to write down the definition?
No, just write down what they are, okay? Just as long as you know what the 6 provisions of our Constitution are. So that you know, like, you know, everything is based on a kind of a philosophical foundation, right? Turn around, Trevor. Don't make me ask you again, Trevor. I'm having to talk to you a lot this morning, Trevor.
I looked behind me.
I know, and who is behind you?
A map of who? It's like a bunch of people behind me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's directly behind me?
I would like you to turn back around. You are not allowed to look behind you anymore in my class for the rest of the day. Okay, because behind you bad, in front of you good.
Okay, so I can do this. I'm not looking behind me. Because that's in front of me.
In reference to, in relation to your desk. Don't turn your desk around. You don't have the right to do that. No, I know he's going through his mind. Okay, how can I undermine him?
It's not his desk.
Dude, do you know that his foot and hand were on that desk?
I did, yeah.
So why would you just yank that out of his hand and prove it to me? It's like you're gonna cut off his nose to spite my face.
I literally, his foot was on the desk, it's not this way from his cutting.
But no, here you are, you're making excuses for doing something you shouldn't have done
Oh my
that
God.
affected somebody else.
You
Not
definitely
cool.
being raw.
I no shit. I know. I would like to, in 5 minutes, start reviewing some of these terms with you guys. You know, he's trying to lose weight.
I'm trying to eat, and he's being annoyed.
So why are you like holding out an open
Because I'm
bag?
offering him some.
Right, he's trying not to eat that crap.
You gotta talk about 229, man.
I'm crazy, get like this.
Yeah, I'm having a blood pressure test.
It doesn't seem like it? Okay, well,
I think Libby wants some.
you know what, I think that's because like you're freaking, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Okay.
So I'll hear from work.
About that. Hey, Libby, why don't you review your terms? Page numbers are right there. Today I will cover, governor, because we've kind of gone over state legislature, constitution, sources of bills. I'll cover governor and state offices. So know the various state offices. You don't have to you don't have to remember every single one. Just beneath the governor, kind of what's the hierarchy. We have a state treasurer, we have an attorney general, a state attorney general. We have, so for example, if the state, like if they're going to prosecute something, they're going to lead in an investigation, they usually go to the attorney general. You guys know who the attorney general of the United States is right now, if you've been following? No? Who's investigating our president? Russia involvement? You guys don't know? You haven't heard any names thrown out there? Mueller, the name Mueller sound familiar to anybody here? Yeah? Okay. So, yeah, that's at the national level. Here at the state level, we have an attorney general. We have a lieutenant governor who would be the second in command. So the lieutenant governor is kind of like a vice president, right? Yes.
That's a good question, it's kind of
Sure.
off topic. What is Trump talking to Russia?
That's not off
have to do
topic,
with
it's
anything?
American government.
Yeah, what does it have to do with anything?
What does it have to do with anything?
Yeah.
A lot.
Or what? Like, I just don't understand,
So here's the thing. Here is the problem, okay? And you can see it however you want to see it. But the people who are concerned with this is that if we have, so one of the things that's sacrosanct to the American way of life is our democracy. Do you agree? Okay. Do you agree, and I'm not saying that the process is an honest one, right? Because we know gerrymandering, things like that, there's shenanigans that are played, okay? But the process should be an honest and open one. Do you agree with that? The democratic process. Okay. The other thing is that, do you agree that foreign governments should not meddle in that process?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree that if an American political figure works in collusion with a foreign government to affect our process, that would be grounds for...
So that's what they're saying he's doing, is it?
That's what they're saying, that, and even if he's not, here's the problem, okay? Even if there isn't direct ties to it, and I don't know, I mean, I don't know what the evidence is, and I'm not saying that there was, that there wasn't. The problem is that there have been people who have been questioned leading up to this, okay? Who have lied about it, who've lied about their involvement with foreign officials, okay? We also know that there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of smoking guns out there, although I don't think there's like specific evidence, but there's a lot of smoking guns out there. So a lot of times you can build a case that's circumstantial, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think therein lies the problem, that there's all these smoking guns that people have lied about speaking to people when they weren't, that, I think that's the problem. So it brings in all of this suspicion. You know, I think that, and here's the thing, I think that more importantly, Trevor, is that even if you did, like, if he did, if President Trump did, like, and that happened, and used some of that information, like, for sure, we know he took, like, this whole fake news, the great irony of the fake news issue is that Russia has created a lot of fake news about Hillary. You guys know that, right? I mean, there's, I think, well, it wasn't this year, but last year I was telling my American government students, I read an article by an American blogger who created fake news, and his point was, listen, because he was being questioned about this, and they said, oh, he did the meme. I don't know if you guys remember the meme. There was a meme where Hillary, she kind of looked sick or something, and the meme was, Hillary Clinton, does this look like a stroke to anyone? Something like that. And what he was trying to do is just sow the seeds of uncertainty about her, okay? And the person interviewing him said, listen, you know, like, this was a lot, like, that isn't what was happening, right? So you're presenting it as if it's happening. People believe you, and it could affect, like, how they view her, and then affect how they vote.
Also, the mainstream media doesn't Trump all the time.
So,
I can give you like more.
well, okay, I mean, okay, fine. So then the question is this, what he said, his response was, it doesn't matter. I don't want her president. Whatever it takes. That was his take on it. Going back to the whole mainstream media, I mean, I don't know, Trev, I mean, you know, I think when people do things like there's a bunch of pieces of evidence that you could point out that, look, they dissed him about this. And I would say that, okay, but like a lot of those things that people are dissing him about, they're things he did. Like,
okay, yeah, but they're out of context. Like, one of the most recent examples is when he was in China, and they were feeding like the giant koi fish, whatever it is, and he's standing right next to like whatever his name is, I don't know his name. And so they have this scoop and they're feeding, and he's like literally watching this too. And then the guy, he dumps the rest of this bucket in the thing, and so does Trump. So what they do is they take it, they cut that guy.
When you
off.
say they, I don't know what you're like.
CNN.
Okay.
And so they cut that guy out, the leader of China, whatever his name is, and then they showed us the last couple seconds of Trump dumping his thing and like, oh, he's so disrespectful, and he's like not following their customs and being impatient.
Okay.
So he's the president of the United States of America, you like him or not, it's like an amount of respect. And like you're like purposely misrepresenting facts.
Okay. I don't know the case you're talking about, but CNN, so these news organizations, these news networks like Fox 2, I would agree that there seems to, like, their focus is on, you have one group that supports and one group that disses. And my argument would be, you know, here's the thing, we had at one point in our nation, we had, after World War II, we had basically a fair reporting act. Like, what's the role of journalists? It's to provide you guys, or it's to provide the American people facts. Here are the facts. Now you can make a decision, okay? And of course, what's happened is journalists, like many of them, many reporters are turning into opinioneers, right? And they're giving that. And I think that that's too bad. But what happened is, so Ronald Reagan, when he was president, threw out the fair reporting. So what happened is, reporters or news agencies had to give a 50-50 reporting of, if they're going to report like something that's negative about, like, let's say Donald Trump, okay? They report something negative about him, well, they should also report 50% of their reporting should be dedicated to positive things. That was thrown out by a Republican president. Okay, I'm sorry, I said Reagan, I got the wrong person. It was Nixon who did it. So, you know, my thing to you is like, you know, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't see CNN or Fox, either of them, should be, like, I think that they will report facts. I also know that they do their spin. The networks, when we're talking about the networks, I still think that your typical local newspapers, they were talking about they were talking about Hillary Clinton. They've done these analyses of reporting of Hillary Clinton, and prior to the election, she took a beating, man, as far as negative articles about Hillary Clinton. And I'm not talking about fake news or something created on blogs. I'm talking about from the mainstream media. You know who had even more? And there was a liberal writer for a magazine that I read called Harper's, who pointed out, you know who really took a hit? Bernie Sanders. They said the amount of negative articles about Bernie Sanders, about the same type of issues that Hillary Clinton was supporting, that it was like, it was a lot. I don't remember what the breakdown was. I think it was something, it was like 3 or 4 to 1. Like for every 3,000 articles about Hillary Clinton, there were 12,000 about Bernie Sanders that were negative. Yes.
So Bernie Sanders was never going to win. You know, like, I don't remember, like in 2013 or something, the DNC was going bankrupt. So Hillary Clinton, like, basically was been and has paid them to stay afloat, and she's like been keeping them at like minimum. So she pretty much forced them to drop Bernie as their primary.
I can't speak to that. Bernie Sanders, there's a lot of people who felt that the best chance for the Democrats to win that. So you guys understand Trump is considered a populist, right?
Yeah.
You guys know what a populist, have you guys heard that term, populist?
Yeah, they like for the people.
Yeah, and so now here's the thing. The popular though doesn't necessarily mean the majority. So the populist vote oftentimes, someone who's a populist is someone who can oftentimes be on the fringes. Bernie Sanders had the same kind of role for it. Like a lot of the people who did not vote for Hillary, I don't know what the numbers would have been, but they're saying Bernie Sanders could have had a chance because he was another populist.
They dropped him because.
Well, they didn't drop him. He didn't win.
Well, the Democrats decided
The convention.
to support Hillary Clinton instead of Bernie.
Yeah.
They had to pick one person.
Yep.
And Bernie wasn't paying them.
And a lot of people asked Bernie to run as an independent. He said, no, I'm going to run as a Democrat. And, so.
Because he was never going to win if it was like.
Fair enough.
National socialist.
Fair enough. So you guys ready? Here we go. First question, Ty. Give me a qualification. So where we should all be right now is on page 694. So let's all turn to page 694. Okay. Ty, can you give me 2 qualifications in order to be the governor of the state of California? And if you haven't committed it to memory, you should have right in front of you on page 694 information that will allow you to answer the question. That's not your book, is it, Libby? Okay, I see it. You got yours. Have to be at least. Okay, can someone give me a residency qualification for a residency requirement to be qualified to be governor of the state of California? Do it.
5 years.
Okay, 5 years.
Doesn't seem so bad.
5 years as a state resident. Okay.
No, it says American citizen. Oh, and
Yeah. So I just said
You can be a
okay.
state resident without an American
Residency and citizenship. What's that?
You can't be a resident without citizenship, right?
Yes. You can be a resident of the state on a green card, say. Okay. All right. What is the term, Devin? How many terms? First, give me the term. How long is the term for the governor of the state of California?
I can't remember.
Hmm?
I can't remember.
Okay, so it's on page 695. So guys, starting on 694, it says qualifications, and if you guys look right here, okay, look, governor, 694 through 696, qualifications, term and limits, pay and removal. So within that 2-page area, or 3-page area, you have the information that you need to answer this. So I said terms. So obviously it's not on 694. If you guys look at 695, there's a heading that says terms. Did you find it? Okay. So what I would want you guys to do is scan that if you didn't do it before and give me the terms. Now there's a lot of information in there because they try to contextualize things for you. So they'll talk about other states too. They'll talk about other states, but in California. So California shares the same kind of conditions as half of the other states in this country. And what is that? What are the terms? How long is the term?
4 years.
It's a 4-year term, and Tyler, what's the term limit in the state of California? So you can serve 2 4-year term. What's the term limit? How many terms can you serve?
6.
You literally just said it.
I was trying to think of it.
You just said it.
2.
2, which would be how many years total? 2 times 4 is 6. 2 times 4 is 4. 2 times 2 4-year terms.
8.
Boom, it'd be 8 years, okay? Devin, how much does a governor for the state of California get paid? About 695. Ah, you can turn the page. Excellent. You can turn the page. You see anything? It says compensation. Oh. $175,000. Excellent. Libby,
What?
what is a vehicle for removing the governor of the state of California? What would be one way in which people can do it? Why are you looking at me like that? Just concentrate on your thing. Quit looking at me like that. Making me feel self-conscious.
Succession?
What's that? Nope. So you want to look at page 695. Succession means who the governor, how the governor can take over for another. No, it's under removal. See removal? So what's one of the vehicles for removal? What's one way to get rid of the governor? This is the way the assembly can do it. Impeachment. Question. You're not off the hook yet, Libby. Question. That's the assembly. But let's say the assembly is in cahoots with the governor, or enough of the assembly. Do the people have the power to remove the governor? And if so, what is that vehicle called? Boom. Recalled by the voters. It's called recall. Total recall. Excuse me, I'm the blue. Okay. Nico, what's the age requirement to be a governor of the state of California? No, Nico. You are wrong.
Not paying attention.
We are not paying attention. Or you didn't remember. So, you look on there, 694 to 696. I want to review 694 through 696. I'm going to come back to that, Nico, and you're going to tell me what is the age requirement and what is the residency requirement too. Okay. Ernesto, what is the pay for the state, for the governor of the state of California? How much does the governor get paid?
$175,000.
Boom, got it. Andrew, there are 2 processes by which a governor in the state of California can be removed. What are they? What are the 2 vehicles or processes, whatever you want to call them? You're waiting for, then why don't you like sit and like read the book, listen, instead of playing on your damn phones? Driving me crazy.
Impeach and vote.
No, impeach and vote is not. Impeach is right. Vote is, well,
Recall.
it's recall. Yeah, the citizens can vote the governor out through a recall.
So they sign
We had that, what's that?
Sign it.
Well, they signed a petition, right? Okay,
Mr. Wallace,
yes.
after winter break, will it be second semester?
That's
Yeah,
usually how it works.
yeah, I think
I'm
it is.
just, yeah.
I'm sorry, she was talking to me. Yes, it will. Are you thinking, oh, thank God, we'll be out of American government?
Yeah.
The problem is, if you do not want to take me for econ,
Cause I
Are
wanna
you
take your
taking
econ,
econ?
like, I wanna be in your econ class instead of this class.
I don't want you to econ.
if you.
I'm ready.
If you don't want me for econ, you better request somebody
I
else.
want you to econ.
I would recommend if you don't want me for econ, because we're gonna do, actually, econ, there's a lot more hands-on stuff. We're gonna be doing a lot of budget stuff in here.
Okay, good.
So we're gonna talk about big terms, we're gonna talk about,
Volleyball touched me. I don't know about
That's
that.
horrible.
what?
He's
What did you just say?
accused you of being a pedophile.
No, I heard you say the word touching. What is
Yeah.
that? Oh, we're gonna touch upon some, is that what you were riffing on?
No, I was serious.
Why are you sitting like that? Can you not stay, I gotta nail your feet to the floor. Good
That's
lord.
sacrilegious.
Boy.
Okay, so, very good, 175, hey, what are the two vehicles of removal? Okay, recall and impeachment process. Ty, what's the pay for the governor of the state of California? Nope, you're close, you're in the, I mean, you're using the right numbers, but you're off by a lot. You're off by some zeros. So how much is it? It's 175,000. 175,000. Tyler, I haven't forgotten about you, Nico. They're sitting there all quiet like, oh yeah, they forgot about me. Oh no, they didn't happen. You can call me Jay, family friend. Tyler. We've got qualifications. What are the terms? How many terms what are the term limits for a governor for the state of California? Two, very good. Devin, how many years is one term for the governor of the state of California? Excellent, that'd be 4. Nico, what are the qualifications? What's the age requirement to be governor of the state of California? Can you imagine that, you guys? Any of you who turned 18 have been living here for at least 5 years, registered to vote as an American citizen, you could be the governor of the state of California.
Yay!
If one of you was governor for the state of California, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd move to Idaho. Okay? Now, that'd be kinda cool, I'd be like knocking on your door. Governor Coronado,
I have you arrested.
can you?
Oh my God.
What am I getting arrested for?
I just put
Everything!
You're
I
governor.
have you arrested for like a month and you're on probation, so you can't leave the state.
Governor of Florida, what do you want me to do?
I sneak out like the born identity.
They have like a thing on and they APB out and go to break for a felony with that.
Nico, what are the 2 removal vehicles, excuse me, you are here to do math, be quiet. What are the two vehicles for removal for the governor of the state of California called? One is done through the assembly, it's done through the politicians, what is that called? And the other is done through the people, what is that called?
Recalls.
What? Voters, no, it's called recall. The voters can recall. They can petition for recall of the governor. Then they would vote on it once the petition has been accepted. Okay? Term. Ernesto, how many terms can a governor in the state of California serve?
4, I'm 2.
Very good. Libby, how many years does a governor serve for? How many years is a term? Very good.
Because you literally just asked us something.
I know that, Doug. Keep,
Test
hopefully, this, you want me to test you?
Yes.
No.
What are the 2 vehicles
I said
for
you were
removal? Libby, what are the 2 vehicles for removal in the state of California for governor?
Recall.
No, let me do this. Let me put it this way.
Ask
What is the
me a
one,
question.
what is the
I'm
one,
gonna answer.
well, I'm refining my question. The assembly would do what? Recall or impeach?
Impeach.
Very good. Nico, how long is a term for governor in the state of California? Very good. And how many what is the term limits? How many 4-year terms can the governor serve? Excellent. Devin, what's the pay for the governor in the state of California?
$175,000.
Tai, what's the pay for the governor of the state of California? How many terms can a governor in the state of California serve? Ernesto, how old do you have to be governor in the state of California?
18.
As old as I freaking want. 18, very good. Trevor, what's the residency requirement to be governor of the state of California? 2 things. 1,
You have to live 5 years in the state of California as a resident of the United States.
not as a resident of the United States, and you have to be an American citizen. Boom. You have to be an American citizen and be a resident of the state of California for 5 years. Why are you making that noise? Class is not over.
Stop! Oh my god.
That was so aggressive.
I know, right?
That wasn't annoying at all.
That wasn't passive aggressive. That was just aggressive.
Yeah. Just
What are you doing? Sit down.
Getting ready to go.
Libby.
Sit down.
I'm still reviewing. You guys not. Libby, I'll tell you what. You answer these next 3 questions right, everybody can relax. Ready? Here we go. How old do you have to be governor of the state of California?
Why you gotta do that?
How many total years, if the governor of the state of California serves out all of his terms, or her terms, how many total years can that governor serve in the state of California? Okay, stop. Here's the thing. I'll tell you what. Have a seat, Trevor. I'm going to give you that because, just like earlier Tai said, she had the numbers 175 correct. I know it's floating around in there. You have to you got to get those butterflies, you got to capture them, and you got to make sure that they're butterflies. Okay? 4-year terms, 2 terms. That's the limit. A total of 8 years. Got it? Last thing, excuse me, Ernesto. Last thing, excuse me. 2 vehicles for removal. How do the people remove the governor?
I know the
What's
word.
that called?
I know the word.
Starts with an R.
I know it starts with an R. Recall. Recall.
Oh my god.
Can you strike?
I hope you.
Oh my god.
By force, Mr. Wallace.
I'm just okay. Tai, since you want to play this game, you have a question?
Can I go to my last trigger myself?
I cannot stop looking at your hair. I can't answer this question. Yeah, you may. Tai, how does the assembly remove the governor? Through what process? Alright, you guys can, everyone but Libby can chillax.
I
Now, wait a minute, class ain't over. I didn't say get up, walk around. Do not block the door. I don't want to have to tell you again. Okay? Oh, because you want to get the door, maybe. You guys want to stand, if you guys can stand out in the sun quietly, you may. Quietly. Samantha, you've been doing reviewing?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not quiet. I didn't say you can't laugh. I said do it quietly. You can laugh to yourself.
That's a creep you out.
It is, isn't it?
It's like in a horror movie when you walking through an empty mansion or your own mansion.
The ones who were scared.
Xavier, if you don't shut up, I'm going to take your feet. Okay? I'm going to remove your feet from the ends of your legs.
Yeah, cut them off.
I'm going to remove your hands from the ends of your arms. I'm going to take your left foot, put it where your right hand used to be. I'm going to take your right foot, put it where your